Hey guys, it's John. Here's another big cypress tree I'm going to style. This one's got a kind of curve at the base. Um, Been collected for just a year now. It's really grown strong, so it's ready. Let's get started.
Sometimes when wiring large trees, single branches on large trees, it's hard to run a wire from branch to branch like you normally do on other trees. Uh, normally you want to get a wrap around the trunk to get a little tensile strength to bend to bend the branches, but sometimes that's hard to do on a large trunk tree, especially if you're wiring small branches. So um, here is a little technique I use to help. I want to turn this branch down, so I'm going to take a piece of wire. This is just 2.5 millimeter aluminum, and I'm going to start by placing the the wire down at about a 45-degree angle against the trunk, and I'm going to hold that with my thumb. Okay, and then I'm just going to start wrapping. And as I'm doing this, I'm actually twisting the wire as I go out. I'm trying not to use the branch. But as I get out further, it gets harder and harder to do. So now I'm going to release the pressure there and grab the wire here and continue wrapping out this branch. I'll move out as I go. Okay, so now that branch is the wire is on that branch. So I'm going to hold here again, and I'm going to start bending this down. I don't want the branch to do a rainbow if I can help it. So I'm going to bend it down, and then I'm going to start putting some curve into it. I'm still holding here with my thumb. Just putting a little shape in the branch. But I notice the branch still wants to pop up. Well, what I figured out is if you take this wire that's against the trunk and pull it out, let me change hands so you can see, just pull it and place it against the trunk. Now the branch stays wherever you want it to. So by just pushing that into the trunk, now I'm able to move that branch down. Alright, it's not a huge branch, but I think that works pretty well. So you can see I've used that technique up and down the tree here, all of the branches. And I want to show you this last one here. It's wired. I held it to 45. I'm going to go ahead and bring it down, shape it a little bit. Alright, doesn't want to hold. Okay, I can push the wire up there. It still doesn't want to hold, but if I just twist it up here, twist it around, put the tip of the wire against there, now it's got excellent holding power. This tree was just collected last year, so the branches are just beginning to develop. This year, what I'm trying to do is just go ahead and get a basic shape for the branch. These are going to fill in with other branches. So right now I'm building kind of the river pattern. I want these branches to be pretty large. This is a big tree, so I've left them long. I'm going to encourage them to grow out at the end. That will thicken these a little bit, and then I'll cut them back and develop the ramification. So, but this is just the beginning. It's just the beginning shaping. Before these branches get too thick to shape well, I want to go ahead and give them some shape. That's all this is about. It's kind of over-exaggerated because as these branches get bigger and thicker, the curves will lessen, so will appear to be less. So it looks a little crazy right now, but this is just one step in the training process. When it comes to sealing these wounds from the carving, I want eventually this edge of this the edge of this live wood to start rolling over. So I don't want it to die back. I've come through with a knife and I've cut it so I have a nice fine edge or a nice smooth edge. Now I'm going to apply some cut paste to it. I prefer the sticky clay kind of cut paste for this kind of situation. And what I do is just take out a piece, a chunk, something like that. And I need a long skinny piece, so I'm just going to roll it in my fingers You know, the secret to this cut paste is whatever you want it to stick to needs to be dry. So keep your fingers wet, and it'll go on very easy. So I'll just start down here at the bottom where I need to start, and I'll just start pushing this up and sealing as I go. Won't take long and my fingers will start drying out, so a little more water. You can see doing it this way, it really takes very little time to do a lot of sealing. Now I'll come back and make sure it's all tight, both sides, bark side and the car side. When the edge begins to grow, this will lift off, and it'll peel off, and it'll fall off, and that's fine. That's what I wanted. I wanted to protect it until this edge started to grow. Once it's growing, that's great. Next year, I'll come back and trim the edge of this, re-wound it, and cause it to grow some more. So, in that way, in 4 or 5 years, I'll get it to heal most of this area. All right. One other thing to think about, before you wire the top branches, you probably want to put this cut paste on, because I may have to run some wire around these fingers that we created to wire these branches. So I want to get the cut paste on there first before I try to wire the top branches. All right. All right. I originally collected this cypress for this nice big curve. Curves aren't common in cypress. It even comes back a little at the top. So I've wired all of the branches to accentuate those curves and to try to match those curves. Again, kind of a mature style. I've left a lot of small branches here on the trunk. We'll see how it goes. As this tree matures, some of those will probably come off. First training for this tree, so we're just trying to set the shapes in the branches. We'll develop ramification. We'll look for buds on corners and accentuate those, let those grow and develop those for ramification. Really just the beginning. I do have a big mica pot, drum pot I was going to put this in, but I think I'm just going to leave it where it is for now, and then next year I'll move it into a mica pot. But so there's another cypress. I guess this is number, we could call this one number 5.